What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in to talk about the top weapons that XUR can sell in Destiny 2. Of course, XUR is the weekly vendor who appears on a Friday and brings a bunch of loot, and he finally got an update this season that allows him to sell a ton of different weapons. Many of them are either no longer obtainable, or those which otherwise come from endgame content, so I thought it would be useful for some folks to see his top potential drops. But if you want to know everything that XUR can sell, I'll link a video down below that covers that. And of course, there may be other weapons that XUR can sell that you really like, so let us know any of yours down in the comment section. But otherwise, let's get into it. And in no particular order right here, initially, we have Wings Maul, and it's an older Iron Banner weapon, so this is a void lightweight frame grenade launcher. And looking at the top traits, you do get things like quick launch and hard launch, both pretty good bonuses, but also, in the first trait slot, either things like spike nades or proximity grenades, and also blinding nades is a pretty underrated perk, which is especially good for higher level content, but then it can also roll quick draw or field prep. And you have options like demolitionist or auto-loading holster as well. There aren't absolutely tons of great perks on Wings Maul, but it's safe to say the good rolls are very good, so another one to look out for from XUR. He can also sell Tomorrow's Answer, which is the rocket launcher from Trials, no longer obtainable from Trials itself as far as I know. And looking at top rolls for PvE, you've got things like high impact casing, as well as field prep, and Clown Cartridge, which actually does pretty well for DPS. But it can also roll Chain Reaction, which is a pretty fun bonus as well. And if you want the classic tracking and cluster bombs combo, it's also something else that can roll out on the weapon. So along with rocket launcher buffs recently, this thing could be pretty nice when it rolls around. Of course, we do rely on XUR to bring us good rolls of the weapons. But next, of course, XUR can also sell the Palindrome, and as most of us know, it's a very good adaptive frame void hand cannon. The weapon can't roll stuff like accurized rounds, but it does have pretty good barrel options to work with, like chambered compensator. And then you can also get ricochet rounds, quick draw, and rangefinder, which would be a really nice roll for PvP. Or you can do the otherwise fairly standard outlaw and rampage, or overflow and one for all. But it can also roll quick draw, killing wind, and high impact reserves as traits. So again, it's got a lot of potential given the base performance of the weapon, which is really good. The next weapon on the list would have to be the Summoner, an auto rifle no longer acquirable in Trials, and it is an adaptive frame solar auto rifle. And some of the really nice rolls for this weapon would include Rampage, Zen Moment, or even Overflow, which is pretty good. It can roll ricochet rounds as well, which is nice. But you've got other options like small bore, high caliber rounds, dynamic sway reduction, and rangefinder, or extended barrel and light mag as those first two slots. And then it can roll stuff like Dragonfly for PvE if you dig that, so not necessarily an absolute godly weapon, but a pretty decent auto rifle, and it'll be worth picking up with the right bonuses. Next, XUR can also sell the 7th Seraph CQC shotgun, and this is a solar lightweight frame shotgun. And again, looking at some of the top rolls in PvE, things like Assault Mag, Lead from Gold, and then Trench Barrel are pretty good options. But for PvP, there are bonuses like Slide Shot and Snapshot, but you can also roll the important accurized rounds and Full Choke to get those stats where you want them, so it's still a pretty good shotgun. But also, XUR can sell the Swarm of the Raven, a rapid-fire frame void grenade launcher that previously dropped in the Iron Banner, and it's pretty decent in PvE. Again, there aren't an absolute ton of bonuses on this weapon, but if you can get things like spike grenades, auto-loading holster, or field prep, and then quick draw, it's a pretty snappy weapon. But it can also get things like Rampage and Ambitious Assassin, which could be worth playing around with, although aren't generally top tier bonuses for this kind of weapon. Also, XUR can sell the Scholar from Trials, and this is the high impact kinetic scout rifle. It's a decent weapon. It can roll full auto and opening shot, as well as quick draw in that first trait slot. But then it can get bonuses like Snapshot and Vorpal Weapon, which would be the other top trait bonuses really. And then a very reliable, not super exciting, but very solid hand cannon would be Dire Promise, and it's a class of adaptive frame kinetic hand cannon. Again, it's not especially rare, but not necessarily easy to get a good roll on either, so you can get some pretty good rolls. You've got Fast Draw HCS, Armor Piercing rounds, or Ricochet rounds, and then Snapshot and Rangefinder, as well as opening shot in the traits right there. And generally, if you can get a very good roll, it's a solid PvP weapon. It can also get bonuses like Overflow and Swashbuckler 2, which might be a bit more interesting for PvE. So overall, it's a very well-rounded hand cannon. Another very good hand cannon that XUR can sell though would be the Bottom Dollar, and this is an aggressive frame void hand cannon, which normally drops in the Gambit playlist. XUR's already sold an Outlaw Dragonfly roll of this weapon, which is fairly godly, but it can get those huge mag bonuses like accurized rounds or flared magwell, and top bonuses in trait slot 1 would be Outlaw, Rangefinder, Rapid Hit, or Feeding Frenzy, but then you can also roll Dragonfly, Explosive Payload, Rampage, and Opening Shot in the second slot, so it is a very solid aggressive frame hand cannon. And the final weapon in this top 10 is going to be the Swarm, a high-impact arc machine gun, also a Nightfall weapon drop. And traits-wise, it has a few good options. In slot 1, you can get Killing Wind, Outlaw, Dynamic Sway Reduction, and Surplus, and then slot 2 can roll Dragonfly, Vorpal Weapon, and Unrelenting. Those would really be the top bonuses. Of course, there are a few other things you can get on the weapon. Nothing especially insane about it, but it is an all-round very solid machine gun. And if you don't have one, absolutely it's going to be worth keeping an eye out on any good rolls that XUR may have. Once again, XUR can sell a load of other weapons, including those from sets like the 7th Seraph weapons, the Officer Revolver, the Saw machine gun, but also other Iron Banner weapons like Bide of the Fox, and faction weapons, as well as Ikelos weapons and some of the playlist things. And it is actually possible to see what XUR will sell each week in terms of legendaries as well. So there are two ways to do this. Firstly, he can spawn into lobbies early on the weekly reset. It's a glitch that's been around for quite some time, but it's a fairly unreliable one. However, if it does happen, and you happen to guess where he's going to be as well, then you can see XUR's legendary rewards on reset, as they actually change on Tuesday. So that's one thing, but you can also use awesome tools like DestinySets.com to search for his weekly inventory after the reset on Tuesday. So if you're ever curious, I'll link that down below. I do wonder if XUR's going to get updates to his reward pool as we go into year 5. Of course, he does have things from recent previous seasons, so seasonal updates seem possible, but it's equally likely that we'll get yearly updates. Otherwise, his reward pool would be even more ridiculous than it is at the moment. Nonetheless, it is a massive positive once again that he has had these updates this season. And so guys, once again, I just wanted to go through some of the potential weapons and top rolls that they can have. Let us know down below any weapons that you're particularly excited for him to potentially sell, or any good ones that you've picked up previously. But if you've enjoyed the video today, a rating down below really does help us out on the channel. And if you're new around here, be sure to get subscribed so I can keep you up to date with everything related to Destiny 2. As always, I appreciate you guys a whole bunch. The support on the channel recently has been absolutely awesome as well. Safe to say that we've definitely had the best couple of months this year on the channel, so that really does mean a lot, and thank you guys so much. So thank you guys as always for that. Let's see how we get on the road to Witch Queen, and of course when that new content drops. Once again though, I really do appreciate you guys, and thanks for tuning in for the video today as well. But for now, whatever you guys get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.